Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Yinzer Brothers podcast. I am TJ, and I'm here with my brother Tim. And once again, you are in the presence of the Yinzer Bros. You may have noticed that we've taken a little bit of a break. Why the break? You may ask. We needed to get a little breath after our Steelers' disappointment through the playoffs. Wouldn't you say that, Tim?
I guess. I mean, it seems like every other day I'm getting disappointed more and more and more by the Pittsburgh Steelers and stupid moves.
Well, again, we got a lot to talk about free agency, and it is what it is. But Tim, how have you been doing during the dark time since Tom Brady winning another Super Bowl?
How do I feel?
Yeah, how do you feel?
It stinks, dude.
Once again, Brady. Now everybody in the NFC now gets a taste of what the AFC was like. I'm hearing my Green Bay Packer buddies are all like, that Brady's not fair. That's not fair. I'm like, just shut your face.
I mean, that was just a terrible call on my end to pick the Super Bowl. I didn't think the Bucs had a chance in hell. And I mean, I don't know. He's not human, TJ. I don't know what he's not human. I mean, everything summed up. I saw a video of Brady making one of his super it's not slushies, but a milkshake. Mm-hmm. He basically, I mean, this sums everything up about Brady. He cut the top of the banana off and the bottom of the banana off and threw them away. It's like, hey, these pieces are for the poor. And he made this milkshake with the rest of them.
Yeah.
It just sums up Brady. I'm going, he's just better than us. He's better than everybody on the planet. Just is.
He is. He just is. Yeah, I think till he's done, I don't think anybody's going to win anything else.
It just infuriates me, dude. I mean, and knowing my luck, by the time he retires, his stupid kid will be some super athlete too, and he'll just ruin.
You're probably right.
He'll ruin my life for the next 20 years, also.
So we had to deal with the Super Bowl, and then we come back, and obviously the big question coming back for Steeler fans was Ben coming back or not. They ended up working out a deal. Ben took took less money, which is great, I guess. What are your thoughts about Ben coming back?
I mean, what were you going to do? I mean, you were screwed either way you're looking at it. To me, he's getting paid $14 million. Cam's essentially getting paid $14 million. Cam looks like he's throwing a medicine ball every time he throws the ball.
He looks terrible.
I mean, at least Ben, there isn't 15 better quarterbacks in the league than Ben. There just isn't. I don't care what people say. There just isn't. You're getting 14 million. The one thing that I don't understand is this whole void years. Now they're doing with the contracts, or we're going to be void in 4 years after. TJ, something just screams to me we're going to be screwed come 2025, it's like a Bobby Bonilla contract.
They're doing that with everybody. It's fine. It is some weird type of magic.
At some point, you got to pay the piper. And I just got a feeling we're going to be like, dude, what? I'm going to be 50 and be like, what happened? How do we have $10 to spend underneath the cap?
It's a strange year. Actually, it's been bad for everybody. I'm with you. I think Ben is for the money he's making. I think he's solid. I know that we've had people that are like, get rid of him, blah 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 blah. I still think he's got a year or two in the tank. I think last year his issue wasn't his arm, his issue was his legs, and I think he was so focused on rehabbing his arm.
Yeah, he
just if he can rehab his legs a little bit and get a little stronger in the bottom, I think he'll be okay.
I mean, time will tell. Like I said, I don't think they had an option. I mean, you're not going to go into the season with stupid face, and you're not going to go in with strip club, make it rain Haskins. I mean, just weren't going to happen. I don't know what you're going to do.
That's true. You're right. Well, and then we had some moves too. I mean, I think we just need to talk about this. Pouncey retires. Let's just be real. Pouncey did not have a good year.
I can swallow Pouncey retiring. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. It freed up. There's just a couple moves that to me, they're just head scratchers.
We'll talk about them. So Pouncey retires. Your buddy Vance McDonald, paddle hands retires.
That dude was retired. That dude should have retired after that stiff arm he had in that one Tampa game. He should have He didn't. I'm not even talking about retiring after the game. He should have just retired after that play. Took his helmet off, took his pads off, and just walked up the field.
That's true because it doesn't get much better than that. I mean, that's epic.
That's his only. He'll be able to tell his kids about that. That's his only highlight ever.
I agree.
I mean, I'm talking like pre-Steelers career ever.
He was with what, the 49ers, wasn't he? Is that who he came in the league with?
Yeah, my buddy warned me when we got him before. He's like, dude, the guy has paddles for hands. And he was 1,000% correct.
He was. And then you talk about free agency. Now, again, the Steelers, it's not uncommon for us to get picked over for free agency because we are a build from within team. So you look at some of the notables. First, the big one that left was Dupree. What are your thoughts about Dupree leaving for the big money?
I mean, dude, if he's not worth what's he getting paid, 16, 18? I don't know what he's going to be. He's not. I'm just sorry. He's not worth that type of money to me. No, he's just not. I mean, what are you going to do? If he's going to, God bless you, pat him on the butt, and just the more it seeps into me, the more I hate it on it. But I mean, I think the dude that they had, the rookie kid, I was seeing a lot of stats comparison to his first year compared to Dupree's first year, and he blew Dupree out of the water, even that short time he played. So I think he's going to be all right. So I'm have fun, bud. I love you, but dude, 16, that's crazy for him, man. That's banana money.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's just nuts. I can't believe it. And again, too, you don't know how he's going to respond after he gets done from this knee. He may not be the same player. You just never know. And it doesn't seem like, I mean, there's a lot of edge rushers that are in free agency that you can pick up. And there's you can always get some in the draft too. So I think they're okay with.
No, they better do something. Besides, they bring back Marsh. That dude is the backup. You might as well. I'm out to stick my head in a wasp's nest and just let it just ride.
Yeah, he's not very fierce. And then, so what are your thoughts about losing Hilton?
I thought it was going to come down to making the decision of Hilton or Cam Sutton. Me personally, I like Cam Sutton because I thought he was more flexible. I thought he would slide right into Hilton's spot. You're okay. He got banana money. God bless him. I think he can't cover anybody. I'm just going to be real. He's a great in the box type of blitzing. He can't cover anybody. For you to go to Cincinnati, God bless you, dude. I mean, knock yourself out. He's worked his whole way to get there. It's a money grab. He's getting his money. God bless him. I just think the Steelers system fit him well. I don't think going to Cincinnati. Let me put it this way, dude. We play Cincinnati. If I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, what I'm doing is lining Juju up in the slot, having him go up Mike Hilton, and Juju's going to have 4,000 yards that game because Mike Hilton can't cover anybody.
You're right. He can't. So the money he got for that, I mean, he's a very specialized player. I mean, he can only do certain things. He's great. He's great at blitzing. When he's running in, he's a great, guy coming in. The money that they gave him was absolutely ridiculous. So I'm with you too. What are your thoughts about losing Filer? I mean, obviously they picked Banner over Filer.
That dude, to me, I made the statement of last year during that playoff game. I don't even know why he was playing. Dotson is 30 times better than Filer. Bye-bye.
I agree.
Move on.
I agree. So then let's talk about Alu. Now again,
that one to me, for the money you re-up Wormley with, they paid him that Wormley dude way too much. I don't know why you couldn't have given. I know that they gave him a little bit extra cash to Alu, but I don't agree with giving Wormley the money you got when I thought there was better defensive line out there to actually look at. I mean, you still had I know Geno Atkins, after they signed Wormley, Geno Atkins got released, which I think would be a beautiful fit for the Steelers. I don't think they have the money to do anything, but I think he would be an incredible fit. JJ Watt.
JJ was never coming here. There's just no way. Unless he would take minimum.
I think Arizona, what do you get paid $15 million to Arizona? Which is crazy. I think if they would have got around 10 for the Steelers, I think the Steelers were about at 10 because he said it was close, but there's no way the Steelers were going to 15. I think the Steelers were thinking around 10, and I think at 10, okay, maybe
if he's 10, get him.
That's even for 1 year. That's even crazy for me for a guy his age. I mean, I don't know, but to me, Wormley, I think they gave him I thought the deal I was looking at was he's getting close to $4 million a year for 2.9. That's a lot for him, dude.
You got to remember too, Alu's getting up there in age too. He's in his what? He's in his mid-30s.
I agree with you.
33.
I agree with you, but he had such a good year last year, man. And you could
He
tell
did. Yeah, he
you
did.
could tell the immense drop off when he got hurt. They're
Oh yeah,
running.
I agree. You know,
I mean,
so I don't know.
could,
That might be pain for us. We'll see. I don't know.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts about releasing Vince Williams?
That's the one that's just a head scratcher to me. There's a couple that are head scratchers. I mean, you're going into the season with Spillane. You got Devin Bush. You got Rocky running to the wall face, and you got Marcus Allen. Those are your middle linebackers, TJ.
Don't get me wrong. Try to make a pitch for Avery Williamson. I wonder if they're going to try to bring him back because nobody's staying in line to get him.
They got to do something because they don't have a thumper, Teach. I mean, I love Devin Bush. He's a sideline to sideline guy, but he's not a thumper. Vince is a run stopper. Yeah. That's why you have Vince Williams there. You going to trust Balboa doing that? Is he going to? I mean, truthfully, I think their linebackers. I don't think any of their linebackers may be over 2.25.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Yeah, because Bush isn't that big either. I wouldn't mind. I mean, I think that Williamson reminded me of Vince Williams, except he was leaner and faster. I think he was one to put his head in there. He was a lot. Williams, he's a thumper, but he's slow. I mean, so what do you do with all these tight ends that you got to cover? I think you need somebody that has that speed.
I get what you're saying, but I think the NFL is all about packages too, because you can tell when you got run heavy. If you got a goal line package or run heavy package, you want a guy like Vince Williams there that can thump, So, mm-hmm. And I don't think they have that in the middle. So it gets me a little nervous. And again, Bush is I think Bush is going to be fine, but
we don't know what kind of. I mean, he's young, but we don't know how he's going to respond from his knee too, because he's not very big. He's all speed. If that speed goes away, what does Bush do?
Oh, you're stuck with you're stuck with a midget that just can't do anything, and it just sucks.
Tim, we get letters. We'll get letters for that. That's great.
I'm sorry. A little person. I don't know what you want me to stuck with.
They did sign.
You're essentially stuck with me. That's what you're stuck with.
Except just a hair slower than you. Just a hair. Which is really slow. I saw enough out of Spillane last year that makes me think he's a quality backup. I think he can get into that rotation.
TJ, what did I say was going to rip your heart out? Dude, at some point? I said Spillane was going to rip your heart out. He went toe-to-toe
with Henry. I still remember that hit against Henry. I'm sure. Hello.
He was so bad in the Cleveland game. I mean, so bad. And I did see a clip, dude. I did see a clip of him working out on the beach somewhere. He's like doing sprints on the beach. TJ, it looked exactly like the scene from Rocky 3 when he's running on the beach with Apollo Creed.
With the half shirt.
I was like, this dude, it's unbelievable.
Well, have you heard too? They're talking about, obviously since we lost, Vance McDonald, possibility of Jesse James coming back to the fold.
I would take him back in a heartbeat, dude. I think
he's a cheap blocker. Take him.
That'd be smart.
Take him.
That would be a smart.
So again, as we're looking at stuff today, there was news. Obviously, we got, Juju. He's back with the Steelers. I didn't think there was any chance in heck he was coming back. So the trade.
I know.
So now
we have different thoughts on this. I am.
We do. See, I don't view it as I think you view it as it was Juju or Nelson. I view it.
That's exactly what it was.
No, I view that they picked Nelson or they picked Hayden over Nelson. I didn't think they were keeping both of them. I thought one of those two was leaving.
TJ,
so let me ask you a question. Do you think
if Juju doesn't come back, they're not getting rid of either two of those corners?
Well, I think one of those two is leaving just because of the cap hit. I think one of those two were.
No, TJ, they're not. If Juju's not come back, that's them. Let me give you my whole logic to everything. Okay.
Yeah, give me the logic.
You signed Juju on this team. Realistically, to me, he's the number 3. He's not better than Deontay Johnson. He's not better than Claypool. That's number 1. Okay.
But wait, hold on. Let's hit each thing now. Let me give you my thought on that first thing, then I'll let you go too. I think he's proven more than Johnson. Johnson's got to stay healthy. Johnson's got to continue to hold on to the ball.
Has Juju been that healthy?
He's been okay. Now, this year he has. Last year he was pretty beat up. But I mean, as far as Ben's go-to guy, Ben needs that thing. Who does he feel the most comfortable with in that receiving corps?
I don't disagree.
It's Juju. It's Juju.
Yeah, but
so and now I'm all for Claypool. I think he's going to be a stud, but we don't know everything that he can do yet. I mean, we're still figuring out. So keep going. Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, and Washington's got for whatever reason, he struggles to stay on the field, and I don't know why. I don't know if Tomlin doesn't like him.
I don't
know what it is. Good.
My second point is on the defensive side. You get rid of Nelson. Between Nelson and Hayden, the reason why I think they kept Hayden and dropped Nelson, which talent-wise I don't understand, but I think it's a locker room thing. That's why they kept Hayden. My big thing is this. Here's where it circles down to. You get rid of Nelson. I thought Nelson was pretty much their second best defensive player last year, period. He's a top, if you look at the stats, he's a top 5 corner in the league.
Mm-hmm.
You get rid of him. What you're doing is you're moving Cam Sutton to the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that position of the slot where Cam Sutton was going to play, who are you putting there?
Was St. Pierre maybe? I mean, who else?
That's my point directly. I don't understand it. And then my third, if you want to tackle that, I got a third point to this too, which is what's the Steelers' track record drafting wide receivers?
Yeah, they're not great. So let's go back to
drafting wide receivers. What's their track record?
Oh, they're fantastic at wide receivers.
What's their track record of drafting corners?
Yeah. Oh, they're not very good unless they turn things around with Sutton and these guys. They're not very good.
That's my main point. Steelers can go out and draft a receiver and be okay. I would even be okay with they signed what's his name? What's the punt returner dude?
McLeod or whatever.
To play that slot where Juju would have been.
Yeah,
I would be okay
McLeod
with that.
or whatever. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I would have been okay with that. It just or even you move Claypool into the slot. Is that big body, and you have Washington and Deontay Johnson on the outside, and you have you have pieces in the defense you can move around. Now you're kind of just like, dude, if they draft a corner, I'm going to stick my head in the toilet and just flush it over and over and over and over again because they can't draft corners.
Mm-hmm. Well, so now here's the thing. I mean, obviously there are still some free agent corners that are in the league that aren't bad. So what makes a great corner?
What makes your pass rush does. Don't get me wrong. I get it. You're up front. That's why I thought the JJ Watt thing would have been genius. That's why I think if you can somehow get Geno Atkins, which I think is, I won't call him a poor man's JJ Watt, because I think he's very good. And in Cincinnati, he had nobody around him. You pair him up with, and he's got a little bit of a bigger body, so he could play either one of those three. He could play the nose.
Yeah,
be perfect. Now, if they do make a move like that, I'm okay with Nelson hitting, or maybe bring in a Dory Jackson. He's out there. He was a first rounder. Yeah. I don't know if you're gonna. I don't know how much money he's going to demand, because that Dory Jackson to me has enough of. He's kind of like Sutton, where you could play him different areas. I think he would be a good piece, but I just don't think they have the money to do it, dude.
But here's the reality. I don't know. It's not like the Steelers are the only ones that are having cap issues. When they brought that cap thing back, I mean, it's bananas to me. Like, say, when you look at like what the Titans paid for Dupree, what are they going to do with any? I mean, they got so many other needs on their team. What are they going to do? Is he going to be their answer? I mean, it's just ridiculous to me. I think one of the reasons Juju's still here is because they all thought they were getting paid, and they didn't get paid because, I mean, look at some of the other wide receiver numbers. Now I get it. I get it. As far as I still don't think they could have kept Hayden and Nelson. In fact, the talk around town was that, Hayden was going to get cut, wasn't it?
I never thought they'd get rid of Hayden, because that is just a pure Mike Tomlin dude. They brought him in.
I agree.
And I just think the locker room wise, by losing Pouncey, you still need to have that veteran dude in there. I know Hayward's there, but he's a veteran dude. He's a solid dude. He's a good dude. He was never a that dude is the model Steeler player.
Mm-hmm.
Just the way his attitude is, just the way that's just a model Steeler player. I got the Browns, but he's a model Steeler player. I just think with the locker room, and Nelson didn't seem that way in a lot. He wasn't. He was very good on the field, but in the locker room, I don't think he was ever a leader. You know, I mean, he just.
I don't know. So maybe they must think they have. I mean, I really think the upside on Cam Sutton is going to be amazing. I saw enough.
The guy that
St. Pierre, I don't know.
That's the guy I think they're high on. Is Pierre, which, I mean, I don't know. I can't trust any of their judgment on corners. They drafted Justin Lane with the second round pick 3 years ago, and he can't see the field.
No.
Something doesn't make any sense.
You just get guys like that. So I think I would try to figure out who the Patriots are drafting at corner. And just
exactly.
just take,
truthfully, what I would do is if I was the Patriots, I would see if the Steelers are drafting wide receiver, and if I was the Steelers, I'd see if the Patriots drafting a corner. But if you want to talk about money, I mean, Pimp Daddy Bill up there is just throwing out dollar bills like he's going like he's on fire out there. New England's paying a lot of dudes.
But you know what he's missing?
A quarterback because he can't throw 5 yards.
So how great was Belichick?
I don't know.
It's the same argument with Tomlin. Is he the greatest coach that ever lived? I want to see what he does this year 2 without Brady. Brady leaves and goes to a Super Bowl. And what does Belichick do? But don't tell me about all these guys that opted out. I don't want to hear about all these guys that opted out. He looked like the Titanic going down.
He did a bunch of opt out, but I do like what he's doing, man. He's building. He got 2 great tight ends now. Cam Newton can't throw over 5 yards. You got 2 bulls of tight ends. He's basically copied. Like, that's a good move. Like, Cam Newton could just do shovel passes to tight ends all the time now. Wow.
See, I was surprised like they didn't make a play for like Andy Dalton or somebody like that. I think Dalton would fit their system fine.
Andy Dalton sucks. He stinks. I would rather have Cam thrown left-handed because I know Cam, you know what? Cam can run an option. And he would just run it. Andy Dalton stinks. God bless the Bear. God bless him.
Cam is a dumpster fire. I don't know. I don't know what the Bears and Trubisky. Didn't the Bills pick him up? I think.
Yeah,
I think he's a backup now.
Yeah, I mean the Bears. The Bears are just. They are a hot mess, and I am loving every second of it.
They are bad. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, there's no way they can keep Nelson, right?
They told him to go look for a trade. We're going to cut you. So my guess is if he doesn't get a trade partner by Monday, he's going to be cut. I mean, it is what it is.
Now, the thing that I saw was that he requested a trade.
No, TJ, come on. TJ, come on.
That was the first thing that hit on my thing. So,
TJ, you think he was like all out of nowhere? Juju gets signed, and Nelson's like, I want out now. Come on, dude.
No, this was I saw that he requested a trade before Juju got signed. I don't know where I saw it. It popped in my Twitter feed. I don't know.
All I saw was a Nelson. I saw it after the Juju thing. I think the writing. When we get done,
we got to look that up. I saw it was before even the Juju thing went down, and it said that Nelson requested a trade. Maybe that was part of the reason they signed Juju.
If that's the case, bye. But I thought it was because of that.
Well, when you look at
here's the thing I'm kind of stunned about. Why couldn't you have kept Nelson? Why didn't you just extend him?
That's
right. An extension.
I think he requested a trade. I think that's what I saw. So I don't think it's like you keep this guy or that guy. I think he requested a trade. So I don't know if something happened or whatever. You know, I was thinking about this at Juju too. I mean, when you look at our wide receivers, which is the best blocking wide receiver we have?
I don't think Claypool's had a chance not to be. If you look at Claypool's tape from Notre Dame, he did that 80% of the time. Claypool's like a giant. He's like a small tight end.
Oh, he is. So
I think if he has a chance to do it, he's going to maul people.
Mm-hmm. Well, he will have a chance, hopefully. I mean, can you imagine this? Think about this. If you're running something out there, and again, you got to run like if you run like a package to the right or something like that, and you got trips out there, and you got Juju, Claypool, and even Washington. Washington's a good blocker. He's a decent wide receiver. You know, you don't want Johnson out there. You know, they got to put their little guys out there to who's going to stop those three?
TJ, they had it last year and they couldn't do diddly poo. So I mean, what's the difference?
But I think the offense was different. I think Ben was. I think the problem was Ben was not under center. He's got to get under center. Every once in a while, you got to get under center. You can't go from the pistol and the shotgun and have your linemen 90% of the time having their first step back.
Yeah, but I mean that's Ben's MO. He loves it, and I don't. I mean, I'm kind of curious what happens.
What QB doesn't want to be in shotgun?
I agree with you, dude. I mean, if I had my option to I've been in shotgun all the time. If I'm on a video game, I want to be in shotgun all the time, and I'm not even getting hit.
I think it'll be so. Let me throw this one tidbit out to free agency too. Again, and I've heard everybody, and I understand the haterade, and I know that we didn't finish strong. I get it, but we had 2 major injuries going down the stretch. I mean, you can't lose a Bush. I think of the Bush and Dupree. If you pick one of those 2 that hurt them the most, I think Bush hurt them more than Dupree. Losing Dupree.
Think?
That's just me.
They had a white guy that could basically just runs into walls.
That's it. And then I think they got the injury bug, from that point. And then again, so everybody's like, oh my gosh, we lost everybody to free agency. I still think the core of this team is intact. And I think if they can go out, I like what they're doing with the line. I think the line's going to be fine. I think part of it's line and part of it's scheme.
I have a feeling they're going to try to get Villanueva back from everything that I've been reading, which I don't want him back.
Here's a challenge. I think he's going to want too much money. I think somebody else will give him more money. He's got I like Dotson. I like what they're doing with the line. They need to get a running back. I don't know why Samuels is still on the team. Why is he still there? McFarland is too young to tell.
I mean, you can't just
and then Benny Snell.
Oh, jeez. You can't cut, like, I put it this way: if they draft running back in the first round, Jalen Samuels will not be on this team come time next year. He just won't. Mm-hmm. The way things are going, I mean, as a hypothetical, it's just crazy to me. If you can get him back like ridiculously cheap, do you even take Connor back and think about cutting Benny Snell and drafting a running back still? Because nobody's touched. I mean, nobody. If you see the contracts for running backs, they're getting paid nothing, and nobody's even came smelling at Connor yet.
Well, there's a couple decent running backs out there. I mean, isn't Fournette? Isn't he a free agent?
Someone's gonna give him dumb money because you're stupid.
I mean, you could get a quality guy. Here's my thing with Connor: he can't stay healthy.
That's what I'm saying is, if you bring him back cheap and he's basically a backup, and you go draft a dude like a Najee Harris in the first round, and you have Najee, that guy doing first, second down. I trust Connor as a third down back, picking up blitzes and stuff and catching the ball out of the backfield. I just do. I think he's a good pass. Out of all their backs.
If you're going to do that, why don't you just bring back Bell? He'll be dirt cheap.
TJ, my brain.
He'll be dirt cheap.
TJ, my brain cannot handle Juju, Claypool, and Bell all on one team. My brain just couldn't handle it. It couldn't handle it. It just couldn't handle it.
He does give you a beautiful option out of the backfield for catching.
TikTok. And there's no way Bell's going to need to have some type of money. I read something. He's had like his 7th kid with a 7th different mother. He at least has. You had to pay him something.
Who's going to touch Bell?
TJ, all I would see. Do you understand? Like, all you would see out of the Steelers locker room was like TikToks and Corvette and dancing on logos. My brain would explode.
They do. I mean, they need to get a stud running back. I understand you need lines. I get all that, but you know what? I watched Barry Sanders and guys like this do amazing things with poop in front of them. A great running back is a great running back. I don't know what to tell you.
What started to drive me crazy is, man, everybody's blowing up the dude from Clemson. Everybody's blowing up this guy, the kid from North Carolina. I saw him. He looks good on film. But it's one of those things where you're kind of like, they're blowing those dudes up, and a lot of people have them even ranked higher than Najee. Do you just grab a tackle in the first round and then grab one of these running backs in the second round?
I don't know. I think
that's where I'm kind of like. To me, I think you have to get some linemen.
I think you can get decent linemen. It wouldn't shock me if they grabbed an edge rusher in the first round.
I agree with you too, dude. Like I said, I saw a dude from Georgia, and he looks like
he's a monster.
He looks like he could. I mean, realistically, if you had a rotation of those three, JJ or Yeah, TJ, the other guy, him,
Highsmith,
I would be quite.
If you could get,
It would make up for your deficiencies in the defensive back.
yeah, if you could get a decent running back in the second, but they need a running back. You look at that running back stable, and it is awful.
It
It just doesn't
stinks.
look good.
But I've been seeing like 4 running backs that I've been kind of, or 5. I mean, you have Alabama dude, you have the Clemson kid, you got the kid from North Carolina. I've been seeing a kid from I think it's from Memphis that's looks electric, and the kid from Ohio State. So I think you can be able to grab one later. I just Najee Harris. I mean, the more I see that dude, I'm like, oh boy, he would just be.
He's a Steeler back.
He is, man, and I just don't know if you can get him.
You could hook your wagon up to him.
I'd be the first one to have his jersey on. I would.
You can hook your wagon up to it. Well, yeah, but when you have somebody like that, it makes you got a good running game. It makes an average quarterback above average. And then you know what? It takes somebody like Ben, and maybe it gives him another year or two.
But I still think you got to draft some offensive linemen, because I mean
you can get offensive linemen in third rounds. You can do that. They don't have to be first rounders. I mean,
and at this point though too, would you be against them drafting a middle linebacker early though too to pair up with?
No, I'd grab a middle linebacker
pair up with Bush.
Yeah, I would even say this: if they get a chance to grab a stud tight end, that can block a big one like a Kelsey or something, I'd do that too. But they're not. I mean, they're not great with drafting tight ends either. But if you can bring back Jesse James cheap, he's your blocker. Let Ebron run down there and catch one out of every 3. Hey, it is what it is.
I've been seeing like highlights of him training. I'm like, not one time have I seen him catching balls off the jug machine. I'm like, dude, just go. I don't even do anything else besides just practice catching the ball.
Well, let's be realistic. If you look at the Steelers, how they're built, and I know I'm listening to talk radio and all this stuff, and they've already buried these guys. If you look at the Steelers, how they're built, their defense is a championship caliber defense still. I think they're a top 10 defense still.
Yeah.
If they can move a few things around on the offense, there's no reason that I see that they can't be, that they can't make a deep run. And again, every season plays out different. You have no idea what's going to happen to the other teams. They stay healthy. They get to the end of the line. I think they can make a push. They can make a run, because Ben is still, I agree with you. He's still in the top 15.
Yeah.
I mean, he is.
I think it's the division. I mean, the division is very good. That's what's kind of.
Well, so, I mean, you look at the division, you look at, I mean, who are the Ravens? Who are they?
I mean, I don't know, but
they hooked their wagon up to Jackson. Who is he? What has he done yet?
He's won MVP, dude. I mean, I understand. He's still.
But you know what? He won that because he's a video game guy. I mean, that's all he is. So let me ask you a question: if he doesn't take a step,
if I had Lamar Jackson with the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'd be feeling quite electric right now. I'd be like, let's rock and roll.
So let me ask you a question: what's the goal of every NFL team?
Championship. It's to win a championship. I get it.
So if he doesn't produce this year, if he does the same thing he's done the last 2 years, what do you do with him on your team? Do you cut bait?
Nah, you got to sign him, TJ. You have to.
Well, so here's the challenge. As he gets older, you know what he's going to get?
Slower. I get what you're saying.
If his game's his legs.
But Michael Vick was like that too, and he developed into a passer later on in his career. And I think he can do that. He did,
but what did he win?
I think he got to a title game, didn't he? He got to an NFC title game. Still pretty good. A lot of good quarterbacks don't even get that far.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you're going to give him that kind of money that he wants, he's got to be elite.
TJ, I think you're at a point now. If you have he's a top 15 dude. He is, regardless of what you say. He's a top 15 quarterback in the league. I don't think you have an option nowadays. I just don't think there's not enough good quarterbacks out there.
There's never. I agree with you. There's never enough good quarterbacks.
But you got to pay the piper at some point. It's just you have to. There's nothing you can. Like, I mean, did you hear the package that the Bears were willing to offer for Russell Wilson?
Did
you hear that?
No,
they were going to give up 3 number 1s, a 3rd round pick, and they gave him a list of players to select 2 players off that. Mac was one of those players.
And they didn't
and
do
Seattle turned it down. That just tells you how, like, dude, a mediocre quarterbacks are going to get paid. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
So let me ask you a question. If you were Seattle, would you have sent him?
Dude, that's tough, man, because, dude, a franchise
For
quarterback
three first rounders. Well,
TJ,
you got to look too. Where's Russell at in his career? 3 first rounders. I mean, what's he missing? To support people. And you pick Khalil
TJ.
Mack? Are you kidding me?
TJ, it's a franchise quarterback. He's a franchise dude, man. I mean, I don't know.
So where are the Bears drafting this year?
I don't know where the hell they made the playoffs, so I think they're in the 20s.
That's a lot. 3 first rounders. That's a lot.
I agree. But I mean, if you look at Seattle, if you look at the flip side of Seattle, if he's a franchise quarterback, you don't think? I mean,
he is. I mean, I agree. He's a franchise quarterback.
Do you think the Bears, those picks are going to be early, or are they going to be late? Later.
It's the Bears. They're going to be early.
I mean, you just don't know, dude. It's like, those guys you've got to pay. I mean, you have no option. You're paying mediocre guys.
What could they have possibly wanted beyond that for Russell Wilson?
Dude, I just don't think I don't think it's just a crapshoot with getting a franchise dude. Like, look at, I mean, you like for instance, Philly paid Carson Wentz all that money, and they thought he was the franchise dude. And I mean, if you got a franchise dude and he's won a Super Bowl, like he's been to 2 Super Bowls, he won a Super Bowl. And Seattle is usually pretty competitive. And it's not, Russell Wilson's very good, dude. He's like a top 5 quarterback in the league.
I agree. I think he's definitely in the top 5 league.
If you don't have a franchise quarterback, you might as well forget about it. You're done. You're done.
I agree.
I don't care who you have on your team.
I agree.
You're not going to win. So if you have a remotely, even I say top 10 to top 15 guy that may get you a shot once or twice, you got to pay him.
I agree.
I don't like to me, the interesting one next year is going to be Baker. Does the Browns pick up his 5th-year option? Because next year, you're either going to have to pay Baker or you're not.
See, I still don't. He'd have to take a step this year for me to pay him.
But again, if you put Baker,
he's better than they've had.
If you put Baker up to a lot of quarterbacks in this league, I'm going to probably take him over some guys, and I'm like,
oh yeah, is he top 10?
He's better than Kirk Cousins making a bazillion. Kirk Cousins makes a bazillion amount of money, and I just don't. That doesn't make any sense to me. Andy Dalton's make a ton, like paying Dak Prescott. Is he that good to get that much?
No,
but I don't think you have an option. If you're mediocre, you're going to get paid.
I agree. That's why too. I don't understand why people are so quick to just jettison Roethlisberger too, because I don't see anybody that's better than him right now on the roster. And so the goal is, we got to figure out who that next guy is. Well, why? The guy that we have now isn't done yet. He's still in the top 15. Let him finish out, because he still gives us the best chance to win, I think. And I think the Steelers are built that if everything unfolds the way that it could, they could make another run.
I don't think, if you're not going to opinion, I don't think this is Ben's last year. I personally think he may have another year or two. I do. Yeah. Which is, I agree. It is what it is. I mean, I'm like, okay.
Again, it's not his arm; it's his legs. I think if he can get his legs under him, he'll be okay. And again, the way you extend that is, I think you say, "Hey Ben, we love you. We're going to give you a running game, but that means you got to change your style a little bit again." He adapted his style before, and it extended his career. I think you can do that.
And unless Dwayne Haskins has a come to Jesus moment and he comes out and he's looking like some world beater, I think Ben's going to be around a couple of years. I do. Unless let's surprise everybody. Just draft a quarterback. If that dude like Trey Lance, I would like to see that dude Trey Lance if they slipped and picked him. But I don't know, dude. I mean,
we'll see.
I
think Haskins. You know what? They got him for nothing. It's worth a peek.
I guess, yeah.
I mean, there's no downside. You cut him, there's no downside. It is what it is, Yeah. Somebody will pick him up, And I'll be honest with you. I know dumb face. I know Rudolph, what I've seen from him, even like last year, wasn't awful. So I don't know. Well, I think we'll be okay.
He stinks at
Ben,
football.
I think I think Ben's got at least 2 years in him.
I will say this. No, before, when Dupree went to, I'm happy he went to Tennessee because there was rumblings he was going to go to Cleveland. If you would have paired him with Myles Garrett, that may have been terrifying. Truthfully, I just that would have sucked.
Dupree's, he's a great number 2. He's a great, I'm anxious to see what what Watt does. I think you saw Dupree's game pick up significantly when TJ Watt got here. I mean,
yeah, because TJ Watt's incredible at football.
He is. He's really good. He's really good. He's really good. So let's open up the Yinzer mailbag. What is the Yinzer mailbag? Again, it's when you, the fan, get to ask the Yinzer Bros anything you want. We've had some entries into the Yinzer mailbag. I'll let Tim read the questions that we got, and then we'll just knock them out a little bit at a time. So Tim, open up that Yinzer mailbag.
Okay. Of course, we got our favorite Yinzer, the Mush. Couple questions, and I think we went through this. First one was, are we happy or angry with some free agent moves? I'm not happy with the Juju move. We'll just continue to move on. I made my statements on it. It is what it is. And big thing is he's asking, only thing worse this whole situation. I mean, would they ever extend, number 34? If they extend 34 or give him his 5th-year option, TJ, I may be forced to turn in my season tickets.
Hey, let me ask you a question. So I think, obviously Edmonds is not like, you're not leading the fan club, right? You're not like in charge of the fan club
of Edmonds.
Yeah.
What infuriated me even more this year in the offseason, he's now turned himself into a rapper.
What's his rapper name? Does he have a rapper name?
TJ, I saw it on social media. I glanced at it. I couldn't believe it. I almost stripped my mouth. I didn't even want to look at his name, his rapper name. I didn't care. I almost commented, be like, less rapping, more practicing. Less rapping, more tackling. Less rapping, more pass defending.
That could be a song. That could be a rap song. So let me ask you a question. Let's say if he wasn't a first rounder. So let's say if he wasn't a first rounder, let's say he was a 3rd rounder, would you look at him different?
No, he's not.
Would you say, for a 3rd rounder, he's not bad?
No, I'd be like, less rapping, more tackling.
Yeah.
Less rapping. I'm still be convinced that he thinks he drafted the other Edmonds brother that Buffalo got. And he was like, he just made the mistake. He's like, oh, crap, I'm stuck with this dude.
Oh, geez. Okay, so what are some of the other questions in the Yinzer mailbag, Tim?
Edmonds, if he... Of course, how many throws does Ben left have in his arm?
Ben's arm is fine. His arm's fine.
He goes, name a bigger.
Tim, how many arms you got? How many throws you got in your arm left?
Which one, left or right?
Or are you right or left-handed, Tim?
I'm right-handed, but I got more throws left in my left arm than my right one. Okay, here's the good one. Do you have any idea when the opening day for Pirates season is?
No,
I don't either. Can you name 3 players on the roster?
Brault, Fraser, and what's the big Dominican outfielder?
Wide receiver?
No idea. What do you think?
Yeah,
they call him El Coffee.
I forgot about Polanco.
Yeah, Polanco. Yeah, and then what's the catcher they got now? Gives her the nest, Salinger or something like that. No, Stallings.
Oh yeah, now I remember. I remember him because his dad basically ruined the Pitt basketball.
Pretty much. I poke in every once in a while. Let's just be real, Tim. They're really bad.
TJ, they're not gonna. I mean,
They're bad.
I hope I'm going to say that. That was terrible to even think of that. I was like, I hope there's a COVID outbreak with the Pirates. I don't have to like watch them play it at all. But
they're just bad. They're rebuilding
TJ,
again, Tim. You know what? Baseball's going to stay broken until they figure out their collective bargaining agreement. That thing is a dumpster fire.
TJ,
they allow the Pirates to spend the least in the league, and they're making money hand over fist.
TJ, I've been saying this since I've been like 15 years old. I'm 40. It's never going to change.
They have to change.
You're going to have the Yankees, the Dodgers, just pooping on everybody else.
I agree. It's just awful. It's awful.
I'm like, dude, I mean, it's just, I've had my come to Jesus moment saying, I am going to die before I ever see the Pirates win a World Series. I'm going to die. I won't be alive.
That's true. You never saw the 79 one, did you?
No, I was a celebration baby.
I think I just threw up in my mouth. Thank you for reminding me of that.
I mean, it is true. And it's disgusting, but it's true. Like,
see,
Tom must have been feeding Roe rum and cokes that night, man. It's the only.
See, now I was alive for two, because I was alive for the 71 one as well, but I was I don't remember that one, but I remember 79.
Again, probably my biggest heartbreak ever in Pittsburgh sports history was when the Pirates lost to the Braves.
Sid Bream, the double agent.
TJ, he
screws us that year when he's on the Pirates, and then the next year he goes to the Braves and he hits the game-winning hit that knocks us out of the playoffs. He is the ultimate double agent. He should never be welcome into Pittsburgh. Never.
That is number one on my hit list of heartbreak city. I mean, I cried that night. I cried. I cried.
So what are your thoughts about Neil O'Donnell? Throwing two outs to those Cowboy receivers.
You know,
and then heading to the Jets. Jets. Jets.
I don't blame. I mean, with me, it's like, and I don't know enough about football now, though. I think that was the receiver's fault, and that wasn't Neil O'Donnell's fault. I mean, he's still whatever, dude. It wasn't no Sid Bream. I mean, seeing his 100-year-old rear end circle third base and watching Barry Bonds. I mean, TJ, with my maybe 1.5 throws left in my arm, my right arm, I think I could have threw that dude out from the left field.
Yeah.
I mean, Barry Bonds, you talk about having come on, dude.
At that point, the steroids are kicking in, and his head was getting bigger, so he was off balance. And it was hard to get that thing in.
For the love of God, dude. I mean, the one time in his life, he was like, I'm going to throw this one in slow motion.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible. So what else you got on the Yinzer mailbag? Got any other questions?
I mean, that was pretty much it, man. There's nothing going on. I mean, I was thinking about telling the story. I said the 250 views, which we're never going to get.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know if we have enough time, if we want to do that or not.
I don't think we have enough time today, because we've been talking for about an hour. And then at some point too, we're gonna have to turn toward the draft. When's the draft? The draft is in April, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's coming right up, Tim.
I think it's end of April, actually.
End of April. Yeah, I think it's in April.
Yeah.
Now, I think we probably need to wait for the story to put it to another time where we're not as fired up. So I don't know. We'll see. Again, I still, we won the division last yeyear. We started off 11-0. There was a huge drop off. I get that, but I'm not ready to. I'm hearing people around here saying we're not even going to be 500. I don't understand that. That makes no sense to me. Is all of Pittsburgh? Are we all a hero to zero? Is that just what we do?
TJ, that schedule's just daunting. And I mean, I saw the 17th game that they added. I mean, it's the Seahawks. I mean, they could have gave us somebody, but here's a layup for your 17th game. And I swear to God, if Governor Tom Wolf screws me again this year, they're
starting to open up PA a little bit. You know that? Did you hear that?
That dumpster fire. I mean, whatever, dude. They're about as bad. Don't even get me started.
PA,
that place. I mean, I know people that are they're 22 years old and just fine to be able to get the vaccines compared to people that are 80. They're fucking. And can I just? And I wanted to say this. I mean, I'm watching the NCAA tournament, and that's another thing to add with mush.
Oh, by the way, did you see who beat Ohio State today?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
ORU.
It was a ginormous kick in my crotch for my bracket.
I cannot believe you went against ORU.
TJ, you're right. I shouldn't have. Why would I ever go against a team that has their tallest dude is 6'4" and they're all white guys? Why would I ever go against that?
Haven't you seen Hoosiers? I thought, you know.
There's two things. I mean, what's driving me nuts is I love Loyola, but dude, you can't be trotting Sister Jean out in the Indy. She's 101 years old. I get it that she got vaccinated and all. She's down there. But, TJ, I'm not even worried about COVID. Dude, she catches the common cold and she's done. She's 101. Why do you keep trotting her down there, dude? You got technology. I mean, I've seen a hologram of Tupac. Why can't you just hologram Sister Jean up there?
Well, they're gonna do it after she dies.
I just don't understand it. You're trotting her down there. She's down in India. I saw a picture of her petting the bulldog from Butler. Don't do that, dude. Sister Jean's, she's, I don't understand that. Just don't do it. She's 101, TJ. If I, God forbid, somehow I get famous and I get what it's never going to happen. But if it happened, I give you permission or whoever permission. Don't trot me out at 101 out to the public. Just don't do it.
Oh, Tim. Well, just tell Melissa that. Tell her, you're not just eye candy.
She would be the first one to put me on a glacier somewhere and be like, hey, with no clothes on. I'd be out there at 101. She's like, you're cool, you're protected. She'd either do that or just trot me out and take me to the zoo and somehow sneak me into a cage of lions and just throw me in there naked like 101. Tie like chicken breasts around my neck and kind of just say, hey, you did. I'd be sitting there going, what's going on? I mean, there's that too. And then mush. I will say this. This is how devastating mush is.
Mm-hmm.
In our bracket, he came out probably about 2 or 3 days ago and let it be known that he picked Illinois to TJ, I'm not lying. There was probably 30 people that switched their picks from Illinois to Gonzaga just because he picked Illinois, because that's how big of a mush he is.
Are you serious?
TJ, he's the worst. It's undeniable. I told him, I go, just because your Bears are dumpster fire, I was like, if you start jumping on the Steeler bandwagon this year, I may burn your house down to the ground, because we can't have this. I was like, I can't go through. I think he's gonna at some point probably get a ticket out in Vegas for futures on the Steelers just to dance around in my head for 5 months of the season.
Hey,
there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can teach you. I'm in fear of a nutcracker coming out at any point.
He's got some real estate in your head, huh?
He has more than TJ. He owns a boardwalk just in my head. And
that's great.
He's serving caramel corn and corn dogs all up and down the boardwalk.
Tim, jeez. Anything else you want to add, Tim, to the Yinzer broadcast?
No, I got nothing, man. I mean, I can't.
You did good.
All I keep picturing is like Kevin Colbert. This is the gift in my head. Kevin Colbert jumping into a dumpster and jumping back out. This is like his time of the year. He's gonna like come out. He's gonna be like, who's this dude? He's our new starting, like, I don't know, defensive tackle. You're never to hear from him. He's like some guy that was, I don't know, on the street or was playing in the XFL like 2 years ago. So we'll see what happens. If they could somehow sign like a Geno Atkins, dude, I I'd probably shut up for the rest of the time. I'd be like, I'm cool.
You never know. Everybody's got to go somewhere, and people aren't getting the money they think they were going to get. So we'll see. I don't know.
The one thing that I'm kind of curious about before we get off about Juju's contract, the more I looked at it, they did that whole voidable crap that they did to Benz with his stuff. TJ, somebody way smarter than me has to tell me how this voidable crap works. Because TJ, I have a feeling come 2025, we're going to be like, dude, how is our cap hit? I see the cap being like $300 million, and we're like at 298, and nobody's on our team. Like we're all rookie. Like, how is this happening?
Well, Juju's it was only a 1-year deal for like what, $8 million, right?
No. They did like a 4-year deal, but $7 million of it was like signing bonus or something like that. But there was like voidable years to that. Like
his is only. TJ, well, he could do. They could franchise tag him next year. Yeah.
TJ, I'm telling you what they did. Go look at it. I saw it when I think they did the whole like they did with the Ben with the voidable years and like the Drew Brees stuff with the voidable years. They did the same thing with Juju because his cap hits only like his cap hits. I heard his cap hits only like $2 million.
Oh, because I heard it was just a 1-year deal because he'd be unrestricted next year.
It looks like it technically it looks like it, but on paper wise, because I think they gave him $7 million as a signing bonus, and they split out the rest of it as it's one of those things where everything else is like voidable. You have like 3 or 4 years.
You may have to check on that. I'm pretty sure it's a 1-year deal because they were talking about it was comparison to. Did you hear like the other 2 offers that were on the table?
I do, TJ. I'm 1,000% that there's like a voidable thing. Okay. I saw the breakdown. I couldn't believe. I go, at some point, this whole voidable crap. We're gonna have Ben's voidable crap. We're gonna have his voidable crap.
I think that's just what everybody does now. Yeah, I think it's just what everybody does now. I think you can push that thing to the end always. Like, they're still paying Bonilla, right?
But at some point you have to pay the piper.
I agree, but I think every team does that. I don't think there's any team that doesn't do that. I think they all just figure it out. I mean, how do some of these teams continue to have these, these monster, like the Cowboys are a great example. They pay everybody big money all the time. How do they do that? Especially we all get the salary caps. Well, once again, I am TJ. I'm with my brother, Tim. We're the Yinzer Bros. Look forward to hearing some more podcasts from us, especially when the draft gets a little bit closer. Mm-hmm. Stay classy, Pittsburgh.
I guess we're still number 1 out here.
I guess we are.